Corinthia said, when did you realize your confidence to become a speaker?
It was an evolving process. I decided that anything that's worth doing, and I want you to make a note of this and write it down, is worth doing badly. Ed Foreman said that. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing badly. No one comes out of the gate doing anything great. It's a learning curve that's required. And after trying and failing again and again and again, and pretty soon I found my confidence. If you want to speak, speakers speak. And I spoke scared. I spoke scared. And then I was so nervous, I said, well, I need to speak to some people that can't see my nervousness. So I spoke to elementary kids in elementary school, kindergarten. And they didn't know enough to know whether or not I knew what I was talking about. And I told the teacher, can you bring that man back who's got that funny laugh? I'm really good with children. They love me, they do. And I grew from there. But I said, I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak. And I've spoken and people, they weren't listening and they did other things. And I didn't care. I just kept on talking and going back to my coach and continuing to sharpen the saw. You know, Abraham Lincoln said, if you got 6 hours to chop a tree down, he said, I'll spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. I continued to get the coaching I needed to improve my presentation skills and how I can use quotes and statistics and humor and energy and passion and the rhythm to speaking. I'm coachable. See, most people, they're where they are now because they don't know that they don't know, and they think they know, and they refuse to be coached. And Bob Proctor had a point that most people are where they are because of ignorance. They're not willing to face the reality that their best thinking has produced the life that they now have. If they could have made more money, they would have done it. If they could have had a greater impact, they would have done it. But ego, edging God out, ego, pride cometh before a fall, stop most people from learning, from being open. My high school theme, Booker T. Washington High School in Overtown in Miami. You never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. This is the time you got to be a perpetual learner. A perpetual learner. Things have changed so dramatically and still changing. It has not stopped. It's not stopped. And I said, no, y'all ain't leaving me behind. No, I'm coming. And Sam and Dave would say, hold on, I'm coming. Let me tell you how that song was written. Isaac Hayes and Dave Prater, they wrote that song. And Dave had to go to the restroom. And Isaac would say, come on, man, come on. I'm in a creative mode right now. Hurry up. And he said, hold on, I'm coming. Several times they say, that's the title. That's the title. Hold on, I'm coming. He was using the toilet. Let me tell you another. You know the song Midnight Train to Georgia? My former wife used to sing, and she still does. It was midnight plane to Houston, and they didn't like to fly. I said, look here. We don't like to fly. Do you mind, the guy's a country and western writer, changing it to train? He said, no. And we don't live in Houston, we live in Atlanta. Do you mind changing it to Georgia? No. And the rest is history. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you what I know. Listen, life is just, Helen Keller said it best, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. Put yourself in a community where you can grow, where you can learn, where you have relationships with people that have resources and contacts that you don't have. So you can learn from them. That's important right now. Come out from among people that are broke. Come out from among people that don't have anything and don't want anything. Come out from among people that are argumentative and always creating some kind of drama. You don't need that. No. Driving your blood pressure up. No. No, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be peaceful. You deserve to have the best that life has to offer. Take responsibility for the kind of life that you want. If that's you, if you're ready for a major shift, see, disruptions require transformation. We are going through a major disruption, and you don't want to try and do it by yourself. You can't do all the thinking. You need to be in a community of people that's got your back. And I guarantee you, when you join our greatness community, the culture that we have now, this culture that we're in, is designed to destroy your sense of self, to deny you, to demonize you, and have you thinking small. You were designed for greatness. You're made in the likeness and image of God. It doesn't get any better than that. You've been given authority and dominion over everything. It doesn't get any better than that. But we've been programmed to fail constantly.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. I've heard it said that there's some things you can't see looking forward, but you can only see looking backwards. I've been known for speaking and changing people's lives all around the world, using my voice and the ability to tell a story in all types of situations. I often talk about the fact that I'm here because of two women. One gave me life, that's a person that I had never seen. And one gave me love, that's the person here holding me and my twin brother. This is Mamie Brown. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And I had no idea, being raised in poverty. We were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. And something in me, I don't know exactly when it happened, but I remember one day when I went to an event and I saw Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speak in Miami. And I went to see Malcolm X. And I was so moved by their oratorical skills, I said, I want to do that. I was so impressed with Malcolm X that I went to school the next day and said that my name was Leslie X. The teacher called my mother, this is Mamie Brown, and that was the end of that. She beat that X out of me. But I used my voice as a radio personality. And there was something just kept driving me. I organized demonstrations in Columbus, Ohio, and led demonstrations against police deadly use of force and police brutality that ultimately led to my getting fired in the 70s, and led groups of over 5,000 in the morning in the snow. I became a state representative elected to the Ohio legislature. I was elected 3 terms, the chairman of the Education Committee and Human Resource Committee, passed 14 bills my first term, using my voice. I resigned when my adopted mother was diagnosed with breast cancer and fulfilled my promise that she would never go into a nursing home, and I came back home to take care of her. Using my voice, I became a community activist in Miami, Florida, and once again, fighting against things that were maintaining our detriment, using my voice. I developed a reputation and was invited to speak at Harvard University. I became a compelling speaker and known for telling stories and selected by the National Speakers Association and given their highest award, the CPAE Award, Council Peers of Excellence, using my voice. I received the highest award from Toastmasters International, the Golden Gavel Award. I was selected among the top 5 speakers in the world: General Norman Schwarzkopf, Leon Coker, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and myself. I often wondered, where did I get this from? I said some things nature and some things nurture. I was paid $5 million to do a talk show, The Les Brown Show. I had no idea. Where did this gift come from? I often thought, did I get it from my father, or did I get it from my mother? I've spoken on platforms with Richard Branson in South Africa, Robert Kiyosaki, and other top speakers from around the world. And my oldest son went on a search unbeknownst to me, and through some research found my birth parents and discovered that my grandmother, Beulah Rucker, who was a motivational speaker and educator, and she started a school. She taught herself to read and listen. Article said she was hungry to learn. So hungry, she taught herself the alphabet and how to read with newspaper that was used to insulate the walls of the cabin that she stayed in to keep the cold winter air out. And she went to a school, and the day that she had to register, she had no money, and she stood before the head of the school and held out both her hands. And when he asked, "Where's your money?" and she said, "These hands can work." And he sent her down the line. And she came back, being persistent, because she was hungry to learn, and said once again, "These hands can work." And he looked at her, and I'm sure there was something in his mind that said, she is not going to be denied. And he let her in the school, and she worked for him and other instructors at the school, and she graduated with honors and went back to Gainesville, Georgia, and taught veterans and people in the community, adults and children, how to read, and taught them how to teach others how to read, and taught them how to be hungry to learn. See, this thing called life, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. And they develop all types of skills that will allow them to become entrepreneurs and control their own future. My grandmother. And that which was in her, she obviously passed it on to my mother, Dorothy Bell. And my mother, she was a motivational speaker like her mother. And she traveled all over Georgia and the country speaking, and she played the piano, and she sang, and she had a bubbly personality, and she loved helping people. I wondered where I got this gift from, and now I know. And so my oldest son, unbeknownst to me, went on a search for his grandparents, and he found them, pictures of them. And I talked to a brother that I did not know I had, and went to the Beulah Rucker Museum, my grandmother. I called him and I said, "Dorothy Bell is my mother." And he said, "Well, that's my mother too, so that makes us brothers." And I went there to visit him, and I got to the museum first. And all I could say to myself was, I found them, and now I know why I am who I am, where I came from, and where I got my voice from. Oh, I feel like Mother Teresa said, just when I thought I got a handle on life, the handle broke. This discovery opened up a whole new world for me. To God be the glory.
It's a long shot, ladies and gentlemen, from Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor. Never knowing my mother or father. It's a long shot. Being here with you today in this dome in Atlanta, it's a long shot. No college training, labeled educable, mentally retarded, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop running toward your dream.
So since we're there, right before we came on today, I was talking. You want to tell them the story about the 99-cent store, the dollar store, the Walmarts, the Neiman Marcus?
Yeah. First of all, he's still in diapers. I'm 72.
Yeah.
All right. I served at the Lord's Supper, so let's get that straight. I'm an old guy.
When he was 15, I was being born.
All right. Yes. And I believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach, and that's why I admire you, and that's why I have no qualms about asking you to mentor me in this next chapter of my life, because I'm not through yet, and there's much more for me to do. And I was talking to you about your model, going from competing, his business model, competing with dollar store all the way up to thousands of dollars. And that is so brilliant. One of the things, when I read the book, Alvin Toffler, Future Shock, and he talked about the fact that when we go from a domestic economy to a global economy, an education economy, the things are going to change, and it will be a time where people have to think and have to be creative and find ways to do what they do in a far more effective way, do more and do it faster and with less resources and manpower. You have mastered that, and you're teaching others how to do it. We learn, we earn, and we pass it on. And that's what I admire about you, that you're passing it on. It's not just about you, but you're building a legacy and empowering people who will go into a future that neither one of us will see, that will take it to the next level. And that's exciting.
How many speaking gigs have you done around the world? Any idea how many stages you've been on, Les? The legend, Les Brown, is in the studio. I'm so excited.
I've spoken to as many as 80,000 people. If people go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, and the speech is called "It's Not Over Till You Win." Dexter Yeager from Amway, he put that event together. The largest gathering of entrepreneurs. That was the largest audience of over 80,000. Last year, I spoke in Poland to over 25,000. That was a very powerful gathering. But I've spoken in so many places.
How many times? I know you've been in Miami 4 times in your entire career.
In my entire career.
Only 4 times, by the way.
Only 4 times. Yeah, and I was born in Liberty City. Right? Born in Liberty City, an abandoned building with a twin brother. We're adopted.
I'm a twin.
No, you're not.
Identical twin, man.
Whoa, we're fraternal twins.
Okay.
And so, he looks like my son because I use mascara to cover my gray. There's no shame. I put it on stage, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, but so Wesley and I, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. She had a 3rd grade education. She worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. And my dream, as we were coming up, was to buy her a home. That's what drove me. And one of the families that she worked for, Mrs. Swiderski, used to listen to Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret in the World, and Bill Bailey and Glenn Turner. And that was early stages of cultivating my mind and my thoughts. The Strangest Secret in the World.
Okay.
That was the first motivational message that I heard that sold over 1 million. He was an insurance executive, and he created these motivational messages for his insurance agents to listen to. And their performance began to increase. He had just an incredible voice, and I loved his voice and his content. And then I ran into Jim Rohn, and he worked for a guy named Bill Bailey. He had a company called Best Line Products. And I heard Jim speak. I was fascinated by him and Bill Bailey from Louisville, Kentucky. And those speakers spoke into my life. I always tell speakers, I train them now, and I say that when we speak, we create, as you know, an experience, because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And so when you speak, what you do is distract, dispute, and inspire. You distract them from their story with your story. Through the strategic execution of your story and the things that you have learned and the failures and the setbacks and the victories, you dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. Distract, dispute, and inspire. We create an experience. And I believe that the reason that many speakers aren't able to do what we do is they feel that information is important. And I can tell you unequivocally if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You hear what he's saying, okay?
Yeah.
He's talking about the dismantling of the old story that you're telling the world, okay?
Yes.
And some people have the ability, the magical, miraculous ability to do that. This man right here has it.
You have it too.
Thank you.
I've been watching you. I said, you can't sneak up on the old man. I said, look at him. You
no,
think you're going to ambush me? No way, Jose.
Me and Les Brown are going to be working together.
Yes.
March 17th, 18th, and 19th, right here in Miami. He's only spoken here 4 times in the world. You've probably been to Europe more than 4 times.
Oh my goodness, yes. I've spoken in Poland, in Johannesburg, South Africa, in Australia, in London, England, and Hong Kong. I've spoken all over the world.
And you know, Les, I mean, you're 72, I'm 58 years old. I now, you have 10 kids.
Yes,
I have
5 boys
2.
and 5 girls.
He's
Yeah.
trying to tell me to
You've
get
got
busy.
to pick up the pace. Yes,
Okay.
there's a little, he said, be fruitful and multiply. I took him seriously.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Man. He's 10X. This dude is
That's what I'm
10X.
talking about. Can you feel a brother up in here?
I
Yes.
can. And so, I mean, look, you and I'm sure you do, and I'm transparent, so I'll talk about this. I know I'm at the, closer to the end of my career than the beginning of it.
I don't think so.
No?
No, because part of delivering this message, when you're in alignment with your purpose, I believe that gives you more time on the universe. Just look at me. I'm 72, but I don't look it. I don't have a 72-year-old energy. And there's a difference between that physiological age and that spiritual age. And I think when you're in alignment and doing what you're supposed to do that pleasures God, it keeps you young. You have the energy of a 20-year-old. That allows you to be
But I mean,
a
there's going to
channel.
be a time when you and I are not live in these bodies on a stage.
Without any question.
Okay?
And I'm not looking forward to that.
Les Brown, stay with me. We'll be
Yes.
right back for Power Players. Welcome back to Power Players. Grant Cardone here with the legendary Les Brown. We were talking on break. He promised a breakthrough in March.
Without
How
any
can
question.
you do that?
Because of the fact that what we do, we have the ability, and we've developed it over a period of time, and I don't know exactly when it happens, where you can speak to a crowd of people, and you're speaking to them as a group, but also individually, that they come away as a result of your speaking into them. And as we weave a story with our experiences because of who we are behind the words that we speak, because of what we've gone through. A person hasn't gone through anything, it's hard for them to reach somebody's heart because they've never been there. Sometimes God has to break a life before he can use a life. And so you and I, two
Church,
individuals,
baby,
come on
church.
now. Yeah, we've been broken.
Yeah.
And so he put us back together. And as a result of that we can be used, but we couldn't be used before. And so to me, to be able to be a channel to help people discover a part of themselves that they could never discover by themselves, that's what you do, that's what we do, and that's why people listen to us and come to us.
So why do people, so many people want to be public speakers, but are also fearful of it? And how can you help that person?
Oh, the training that I do, that they speak immediately. That's the quickest thing to go. They speak immediately. You have to set them up so they don't have time to think. And so in the training, they speak immediately and they love it because I believe that we're supposed to be doing this. I had a lady flew from Australia recently and to be trained by me, and she emailed me and said, cost is not an issue. And so I asked her the second day, and I only train with people that I feel a close connection with one-on-one. And I said, why did you want to come to me? She said, I saw American television, and it talked about this young white boy that went into a black church and killed 9 people. And she said, I said to myself, what if I had gotten in his ear? She says, nothing enters except through the eyes or the ears. And she said, and this gave me goose pimples, she said, you speak from your heart. And I want to learn how to do that because I believe the world is the way that it is, not because a few people are violent. She said, the world is the way that it is because too many people are silent.
Yes.
And I said, whoa. And I decided
Dude, that's awesome.
that my goal is to help people outside of politics and outside of religion, which polarize people.
Have a voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
politicians say, do as I tell you to do, and I'll give you a piece of American pie. Ministers say, do as I tell you to do, and I can teach you how to live after you die. And our goal is teaching people how to live right here, right now, because the difference ultimately between what we do and what ministers do, they preach the gospel about Jesus. We preach the gospel that Jesus preached. They sell the messenger, and we sell the message. And so as a result, we can empower people to take charge of their lives and begin to create a new story, to write new chapters with their lives.
So like Les talked about the lady from Australia that says it's not because of the violence, but because of the silence.
Yeah.
I think most businesses fail. Most brands never make it. Most people never reach their greatness because they don't know how to tell their story.
Yes, that's major.
What will you be sharing with the audience? Because look, man.
Let me just share with you why the story is
Success.
important. Yes. Why the story is important is because when you speak, if you're selling,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur, you got a product, you have an expertise, knowledge is a new currency.
Yeah.
People are asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so if you don't answer that, because we know people do business with
who, what, why?
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you have? And why should I care? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And when you can answer that, now you're building a rapport and a connection that creates a possibility where you can do business together and help each other go to that next level.
Guys spoken all over the world. Emmy Award winner for fundraising for public broadcasting.
Yes.
Fortune CEO, Fortune 500 CEOs all over the world, small business owners, nonprofit, community leaders. You have truly, you're an inspiration to me because you sit out in front of me and give me like what is possible. Right?
Yes.
So you've really been an inspiration to me. And,
Thank you so
and I know
much.
millions and millions of others. I look
And
forward
you've
to
done the same for me, and you play it down. You're so humble.
No.
Come
I'm not
on.
humble.
Yeah,
I'm not a humble
you
man.
Just
I
humble
am not-
bread. You just humble bread.
No, I'm
but
not
I ain't going for it.
Dude, I am not a humble man. He's going to speak on Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Saturday.
And you know, this is
But you got to
special for
come
me.
in the night before, man.
I will come in the night before because I live here now.
Okay, good. So we're going to
Yes.
have a yacht party.
Yes.
Can
I
you
look
can you
forward to
swim?
it. Yes, you can't be in Miami and not swim.
Dude, I've met so many people here that can't swim. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing on planet Earth? There's 2/3
Yeah,
water and you
they,
can't
They
swim.
won't be around too long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Les Brown, folks, a legend, okay? If you don't have his book, Laws of Success, okay, go get that book today on Amazon.
Yes.
You can get it anywhere, right?
You can get it on Amazon primarily. But the other thing I'm interested in people checking us out at the Les Brown Institute, because I think it's my mission to train these new voices of hope. When there's hope in the future, it gives you power in the present. We live in the greatest country in the world. There's something wrong when people try and outswim sharks to get here or outrun a Jeep barefooted to get here.
To come to the country.
And the suicide rate in America is higher than the number of people that were killed last year in car accidents. Something is wrong with that. They lost
Crazy,
hope.
man.
And we are voices of hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. And that's what my goal and mission I feel that God has with me, the Les Brown Institute, is to train people how to tell their story and to transform the lives of other individuals. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, he's going to stick to that because that's what he's been doing for 40 years, okay? And he's going to stick to you. If you're committed to your health, to your well-being, to your wealth, to your future, your family, the love, whatever you believe in, we want to help you. March 17th, 18th, and 19th in Miami. Now, look, if you can't get here, I'm going to stream it to them.
Yes.
We got people, a guy called me the other day and said, hey, look, I got 10 people, I bought 10 tickets. I can't get down there because of this.
Yes.
We're going to stream it to those people, okay? I know you got a bunch of your folks coming.
Without any question, and all my children will be there too.
Okay.
So that's going to have the place half full.
And you're going to be there to have fun, okay? I'm telling you, this is going to be the best.
Yeah.
He talked about that Georgia conference.
Yeah, Georgia Dome. I was speaking to 80,000 people. Call It's Not Over Till You Win. They can see it on YouTube.
Now, what if there was only 2,000 people in the room
It
rather
doesn't
than
matter.
80,000?
It doesn't matter.
But don't you think those
Trust
2,000
me,
would get more?
they will get more out of it because I'm going to get the butter from the duck. Trust me on that.
The butter from the duck.
Yes.
You want to talk about the pepper in the fork?
Yes, I've been eating hot pepper on the fork right before this event because I'm going to be fired up and hungry.
I guarantee he will do the single best presentation of his entire career because the bar has been raised, folks. Look at
Yes,
the
it has
people
been.
here, okay? Jay Abrahams. You know Jay?
Absolutely.
What'd you say about Jay?
Jay is very knowledgeable, and he's
Big
going to do
words.
yes, he's big words.
You got
But
it.
there's some people. There's a market there.
There,
Because
Kevin
in
Harrington.
every
You know Kevin
audience,
from
the
Shark
audience
Tank?
is inside of the audience. Yes, I know. Kevin, Kevin.
Infomercial genius.
Yes,
Okay,
he's good.
Almost $1 billion on infomercials.
Yeah.
You know Tim's story that
Yes.
worked with Oprah?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tim is good.
Tim
And-
Grover worked with Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you play basketball?
Yes, and I got a good hook.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Ask
Now, I
Michael,
think he's exaggerating.
Ask Michael
now.
about me. We were born on the same date. He and Jim Brown,
Are you
February
kidding,
17th.
man?
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I think we're beyond public speaking now. Do you know this dude, Andy Frisella?
Yes, but not
Okay,
personally.
$100 million
yes.
earner.
Yeah, he's
$100
a
million
bad
a
boy.
year.
Yeah,
okay?
that's somebody I
Jamie
want to know
Shanks,
more.
Roddy Chong, I'm bringing in a violinist.
You know,
You don't know this dude. He's a little Asian
Yes,
dude.
he's
makes about
he's,
$3 million
he's
bucks a year.
very expressive.
You
when
know
he
who
plays.
this dude? You do know
Yes.
him. Bobby Castro. You don't know Bobby.
No, I don't know
The
Bobby.
white dude, man.
Yes.
Right here in Miami.
Right here in Miami.
$600 million valuation.
What does he
of his
do?
company. Actually, Bankers Healthcare. I think you spoke
Yes,
to
I
this
spoke
group
with
once. Okay. Jack and Telly,
No.
$1.5 billion business.
Man, what a powerful lineup you have.
Per
you know
year-
what?
Per year.
Per year.
Every year he bangs out $1 billion. There's
You
a
know
$1 billion list, but look, it wasn't gonna be complete
Yes.
without my man, Mr. 10X, the original 10X, because he had 10 kids. Okay, Les, buddy, I love you, man.
I love
knew
you.
it.
Do you have any advice on someone who maybe doesn't have their why concrete today on what they're doing?
You got to find out what's in their heart. My favorite book says, where your heart is, there your treasure is also. I was talking to a young man yesterday, and he said to me, when I asked him, I said, okay, you earned a lot of money.
Yes.
You've made millions of dollars. What does the rest of your life look like? And he said, I don't know. I said, okay. What if you did know, stepping into your imagination? What would that look like? He said, I like to help people. I said, great. So let's work from there. Let's come up with a program that allows you to do that without interfering with what you're doing and earning money, because you enjoy that too.
Yes.
You know, Red Fox said money won't buy you happiness, but can make a hell of a down payment. You know, and so we're now working together to help people in different areas of Africa to get clean water, things that we
Beautiful.
take for granted.
Yes.
And also, I'm a 29-year fourth stage cancer conqueror.
That's right.
So helping children who are struggling with cancer, as well as adults, to know that you're more powerful than cancer.
Yeah.
So he now is partnering with me, and so I encourage people who have not figured out their next step, align themselves with someone that's doing something that you feel good about, that you say, you know what, I think I'd like to help that out. That's not something I'm going to give some time to,
Yes.
but I can volunteer as well as make a financial contribution to help to improve the quality of some people. Harsman said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they decide when they make a lot of money to get all the trinkets, and that's just not me. I got a Mickey Mouse watch.
Yes.
You know, I have a Mickey Mouse underwear, but I'm not showing. You know, and I made some serious money. But to me, living a life of contribution, living a life that will outlive you,
Yeah.
making a mark, something that gives you a sense of fulfillment, something that when you think about it, that you will die a life of no regrets. I read this book called Live a Life of No Regrets, and they talked about these wealthy people who were about to die. And they did not ask about all the trinkets they had. They didn't ask whether or not they got an oil change on their brand new car, or how much money the company generated that particular day. They talked about relationships.
Yeah.
Talked about meaning. What is this thing called life all about? And so to me, I'm not a religious person. I see myself as a spiritual person.
Yeah, I like that.
Religious people are afraid of going to hell.
Yes.
Spiritual people have been there.
Yeah.
And hell to me is what you experience when you die and you meet the person that you were supposed to become.
Yeah.
And the work that you were supposed to do. It was part of your assignment, but you didn't take the time of self-discovery to find out what the greater work for you was.
Yeah. Well, I love multiple things you said there. I love the live a life that will outlive you. That hit me hard. I love what hell is for you. When you die, and I think it's increasingly harder to do that self-discovery work, or could be, right, with distractions of cell phone, social media, things like that. Is there I guess I'm curious your opinion on that with so many distractions today that pull us away. I mean, I had a friend of mine for context yesterday, runs a multi-million-dollar business, had a big issue happen, and he's trying to figure out what to do, and he's running 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I said, hey, planes in extreme turbulence, slow down. Did you sit for 10 minutes with the pen and paper and just think what the next action is? Well, wouldn't you know, the second we were done, he sprinted out of the room. He didn't even take the time to think about thinking at the time. So anyway, I'm curious your thoughts with all the distractions today. Where self-discovery plays.
I had an experience. If you don't know when to stop, sometimes life will stop you.
Yeah.
Sometimes God has to break a life in order to heal a life.
Yeah.
And I was stopped because I'd been over in the airport to pick something up, and I experienced sciatica pain. And then I was dealing with the pain of 4th stage cancer. And I never forget when I was in California, Playa Vista, and my niece and my business partner left to go to the store. They helped me get into the bathtub, and they helped me to get out. I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't pick up the weight of my own body. And they put me in bed, and they said, we'll be right back. And they must have gotten caught on the 405, and it took longer than what they thought. And there I was on my back, and I couldn't get up. And all I could think about, I was just like that guy. All these things that I said I had to do.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have to do it. They were going to get done, or it did not get done, because I couldn't get up.
Yeah.
I couldn't take myself to the restroom. And I'm here hoping and trying not to panic. Oh God, help me stabilize myself and not to panic. That if something happened in this house, I couldn't get up and run out. And it made me rethink my life. And I realized I was not irreplaceable. I'm replaceable. And we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson said, this is it. This is the last concert I'm going to do. They spent millions of dollars on stadiums and millions of dollars on marketing. It was it, but not the it that he was thinking about.
Right.
And so in that moment, I looked at my life and I started clearing things off my plate that I had told myself I had to do. All the people that I was helping, I wrote a resignation letter. I'm no longer going to be Mr. ATM. They rejected my resignation letter.
Yeah.
And I sent it back again. Okay. And I said, figure it out.
Yeah.
And I thought about something that Ian Levon son said. She said, give to yourself until your cup runneth over, and then give to others from the overflow.
Yeah.
And people will use you as long as you allow them to use you.
Yes.
And so during this time that I'm on the bed and embarrassed because I can't get up and I might urinate on myself or soil the sheets, I realize you are replaceable.
Yeah.
Lord, when you help me to get my strength back, that I can stand up and walk without pain, I'm gonna be a different person.
Yeah.
You know, Marion White said in life, when you don't have enough courage and insight to know that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on in that level of enlightenment, life will move on you.
Yeah.
And so life moved on me.
Yeah.
And I honored it and I respected it. And now I ask myself, is this something I want to do?
Right.
Is this part of my agenda, or is this someone else's agenda
Yeah.
that I've decided to take on?
Yeah. And that's such a big lesson for a lot of people listening, myself, you clearly, givers to the world. We love give. And as you're saying that, fill your cup first, you know, that the heart pumps blood to itself first. Such an important lesson for, you know, people that are inherently givers, not takers, to and it feels dirty, at least for me, it's felt dirty at times, giving to myself first, because I'm so used to take it all. But to your point, you end up running yourself into a ditch.
Absolutely, and you can't give from an empty wagon. You
Yeah.
gotta take care of you. And I had a secretary who, she was distributing money to my friends, to my family, and she came in and she said, "Mr. Brown?" I said, "Yes, Regina." She said, "Here's a piece of paper and a pen. Hypothetically speaking, if something happened to you, write down the names of people that you help every day that will come to your rescue." I said, "Why would you ask me to do that?" She said, "I'm just curious." And I sat there with the paper in front of me. I couldn't think of anyone.
Wow.
The majority of the people on the paper would say, "Les, if I could, I would, but I don't have it." Where if they had called me, if I didn't have it, I would get it.
Yeah.
And so everybody's in their rightful place. Their rightful place is where their thoughts have brought them. Their true place of independence, their true place of controlling their own destiny is where their thoughts can take them. And most people won't invest the focus, the energy, and the effort to live a life on their terms.
Yeah. And does that come as a daily morning routine, as an evening routine, throughout the day? How does that tactically?
When I get up in the morning, I say all things work together for good, for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. And then I say, Lord, whatever I face today, together, you and I can handle it. And I review the goals of what I want to get out of the day. Most people get up and they just want to get through the day. And then in addition to that, what I do is that I start thinking about what is it I need to learn today that I did not know yesterday. So, and after I recite those affirmations and I look at the things that I want to get out of the day that I wrote the night before, and then I ask myself, what is it that I need to learn today that I did not know yesterday?
Yeah.
Because I believe that in order for us to make it in and out of the pandemic, one, it requires mental resolve, feeding our faith. And right now our faith is being tested.
Yes.
And it's easy to have faith, your bills are paid, you got a job, your business is successful, the relationships are working, the children are not driving you crazy. It's easy to have faith then. But when you have had the rug snatched out from under you, like the pandemic has done, faith not tested can't be trusted. Okay. The next thing that's very important is having relationships. My son John Leslie, who's a speaker and a coach and the president of our company, he said, always ask yourself, when you think about your relationships, who should you count on and who should you count out? There are people who are always there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them.
Yes.
And so this is the time that we have to look at our relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me?
Yeah.
Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said you earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Academy Award winner Sidney Poitier said that when you go for a walk with somebody, something happens. Either they adjust to your pace or you adjust to their pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? Yeah. And so I encourage people to look at your relationships and ask, what is this relationship doing to me? Yeah. Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually and financially? Am I living a life that will outlive me?
Yeah.
And the next thing is that developing collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, but also practicing the principle of upgrading your communication skills. Warren Buffett, when he graduated from Harvard, the first thing he did was he invested in a communications course. I trained the people on a course I trained called Hungry to Speak. And the reason is, Steve Jobs said that the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world.
Yes.
That if you can tell a story about yourself, about your knowledge, your skills, do a podcast that's compelling like you're doing,
yes,
to make your mark for that which you believe in. That this is the attention economy, but in order to get the attention, create an experience with the attention and ignite the attention. People who don't know how to do that, they have skinny children.
Yes.
Okay. So you got to learn how to become an effective communicator.
Yes.
In order to make it in the attention economy. Hold that attention, create an experience with that attention so that you can have your place in the marketplace.
Yes.
You know, so mindset, relationships, OQP, only quality people, and effective communication skill.
As you are such a powerful speaker, you spoke about powerful speaking. How did you become such a powerful speaker yourself?
Well, people say that I'm a powerful speaker. I think I'm a much more effective speech coach. But I study. I believe that as you look at yourself and you have the sacred opportunity to speak to audiences, to inspire them, because at the end of the day, when we speak to an audience, there are three things that we want to accomplish. We want to change their collective thinking, that's number one, and how they see themselves and the story they believe about themselves. The second thing is that our goal is to not only change their thinking, but to broaden and to expand their vision of what's possible in their lives. And the third thing is to inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. And so I think that what people admire me for, and why I received the highest award from the National Speakers Association and Toastmasters International Golden Gavel Award, and was selected among the top 5 speakers in the world. I think what they admire me for is the impact that I've made with audiences, achieving the objectives that I just talked about. Because when people hear you speak, the golden objective is for them to leave there feeling better about themselves and talking about the experience that you created for them to get that vision of themselves. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And my goal is to, when I speak to an audience, is never allow them to be comfortable with living a life of mediocrity, of being comfortable of being average. People who are living a level of being average, those individuals are going through life doing the things that they feel that they need to do. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're living from a place of responsibility. You go through life doing the things that you are called to do, that you see yourself answering the calling on your life, doing those things that create value for people, that will make a difference in people, and that will leave a legacy.
How many of you, since you've been here, you have gotten some value that will impact your life personally and your bottom line? Raise your hands, please. That's what it means. It consists of the wills and the will numbers. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today Invest in yourself. Get some coaching. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today. Develop strategic relationships with people that you can learn from, that others won't do. In order to have the things tomorrow, others won't have. You're investing in yourself. You're coming here, flying here, driving here. You're taking the time to learn new strategies and how you can offset the competition. Makes you different. You're uncommon. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before a master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's why you became an entrepreneur. That's why you're here. You have the boldest and uncommon desire to control your own destiny. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring it in.
How do you get ready for an important speech?
Well, one of the things that I teach in terms of preparation for a speech is find as much about the audience as possible. Who are you going to speak to? Do what I call communications intelligence. You want to get all the information about that organization, the mindset of the audience, what are the goals and objectives they want to achieve. We have a needs assessment that we will provide for you. What is it that these entrepreneurs are looking for? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do they bring to the table of business? How do they see themselves locally and globally in the scheme of things? What is it at the end of that presentation that you want people to walk away from? And then what I do is craft a message. And in the embodiment of that message, in that presentation, in that workshop, the things that will allow them to achieve those objectives. If it's to improve their skill set, if it's to expand their attitude and their vision of themselves and what's possible for them, if it's to challenge them and to inspire them to take their lives to the next level. Those will be the things that we will emphasize in that presentation, that as a result of them being exposed to that experience and the information and all of the things that I've learned over the years of doing this, that they leave there with something of value that they can sink their teeth into, that they can go and start applying it in their lives and in their businesses.